Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And we need to have a heart-to-heart, a real discussion about an important topic. But before we do that, let's welcome our guest this Sunday morning, Mr. Todd Baldwin. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I try to do a different hand gesture every time we meet.
All
so
right.
I did the West Coast today because I'm from the West Coast.
Oh, that is so much fun. So I get to look forward to these hands gestures. You're going to be practicing every week soon. So that's good.
Yep. I'm going to be like a TikToker, just like working on different hand stuff.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you for being here this morning. I always enjoy our conversations. And I want to have a heart-to-heart about something that I didn't even recognize until I was in it. And I think more and more people need to realize this. And this is what Robert Kiyosaki calls the rat race. Others may have, but that's where it was introduced to me. What I now call it is the 40-40 life. And basically, to me, the 40-40 life is really simple, right? You go to school, you get a good job, you work 40 hours for 40 years. And that's like the goal. And I have to tell you, I was 30 years old when I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I had to tell you, for those 8 years or whatever it was at post-college, I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was making a little bit more money every year, and I was spending it. I guess I was the rat chasing the cheese, and I didn't even know any better. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do and actually getting nowhere. So what is it about the rat race that makes it so seductive? I mean, I didn't even see it. I'm reading this book that I read 10 times in a row, and I didn't even realize it until I got smacked. So I'm guessing there are others out there like that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I think you're right. I mean, you grew up thinking that's how it is, right? School is a training ground for employees, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I think 97% of people are employees or independent contractors, and only 3% of the population are entrepreneurs. And the truth is, being an entrepreneur can be really stressful, and owning a business and taking on that risk. And not a lot of people want to take on that headache or stress or financial risk. They like the fact their paycheck is guaranteed every 2 weeks. They go home at 5 p.m., have a few beers, watch TV, hang out with their kids, and go to bed, right? For me, that wasn't the ticket. And it sounds like it wasn't that for you either.
Let's talk about this, because I got to tell you, it was the ticket. At least I thought it was the ticket. So I'm 30 years old. I made a bunch of money in the stock market, lost it all. I'm having I don't know, it wasn't quite a panic attack, but it was like, I suddenly saw my future, which at that point I had 30 years left, right? I'm 10 years in to the 40-40 life. I have 30 years left, and I feel like I just took a gigantic step backwards. And I guess when you're ready, the teacher is there, I guess, or whatever that saying is. But once I identified that I was in the rat race, and in my mind, it was crystal clear. I saw this wheel, and I was the rat running. And every time my income went up and I spent more, the wheel got bigger. If you know anything about the wheels, you have to run harder to keep the wheel going. Mm-hmm. And it was that image in my head that went, I remember thinking, if I keep doing this and I'm asked to run harder and harder, eventually I'm going to have a heart attack. That's what I remember thinking. And that's when I'm like, I got to do something different. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what makes you happy. You got to do something and it sounds cliche, but I really do think that if you enjoy what you do, it makes it a hell of a lot easier, because it's hard, right? It's really hard. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like there are some people, it blows my mind, but there are some people out there who like literally don't even want to be an investor. Like they don't even want to own rental houses. And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think escaping the rat race was huge for you when you figured it out. For me, I
had to identify it first. I don't mean to interrupt, but I had to identify. Yeah, I had to identify that. I think that was the game changer for me, right? If you're in a game, but you don't know you're in a game, you can't get out of the game. Mm-hmm. But once you realize you're in a game and there are rules to the game, i.e. earn, save, invest, you can get out of the game, because the goal of a game is to quote unquote win. I didn't even know I was playing a game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when you understand, when you have a job, you're just making somebody else rich, is what you're doing essentially.
Mhm.
When you own a business, you lease people's time and they're making your rich, or you can lease people's money or leverage. So yeah, it's huge. I mean, it also, I think it's a lot of brainwashing, whether it's, just sort of how do people, I mean, employers want employees.
Mhm.
And so they say, well, go to school, get good grades, do as you're told, get a good job, right? And that's good. Yeah, that makes a phenomenal employee, but it doesn't make you rich.
No, it doesn't make you rich. The thing that I just wrote down is the capitalist system, which we are in, right? We are in a capitalist system. It needs consumers, right? Consumers are 67, 68, whatever, right? High 60% of our system. And if we all suddenly stopped consuming, we only did what I call needs and wants. If we only did our needs, we would have a gigantic recession, right? The
Mhm.
system is built up on wants. Think about, I mean, I remember all these things before I was 30, all the teaser this and the teaser that, and do this, and, buy this on payment, to do this on layaway, or whatever it is, right? The system, right? The system is aimed to make you a rat in the rat race. And the system is trying to, in my opinion, not tell you you're in a game, because if you're in a game, you want to get out of the game, or at least, or win the game, or have the game be over, or whatever it is. That's what I'm starting to think. And it goes back to what you just said, right? The school system makes employees. Well, yes. I think the system around us doesn't want you to look up and go, holy shit, I'm in a rat race with all these other rats. Why are we working so hard?
Mhm.
I think, again, I'm starting to really believe that the entire system is built on keeping everybody in the 40, or keeping as many people in the 40-40 life as possible. Because again, if we stopped our need, or we did our needs and wants, the system would crumble, or at least we'd have a big recession.
Well, absolutely. If you have a 9 to 5, it's actually really good for your employer if you have a huge car payment and you have a bunch of stuff that you have to keep coming back to work to earn paychecks to pay for. And what's funny is, I'll say what I can about this. I have been invited to go on a few game shows.
Mm.
And you go on, you play the game and you win money. Hopefully that's the goal of these game shows. And in my interview process, they asked me, well, hey, what do you want to spend the money on? And I have to sign a form that says that when I'm on live TV, I will not talk about paying off debt, investing, buying a house. I have to talk about, oh yeah, I want to take my family to Europe. I want to get a brand new car, blah, 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 right? And there's nothing wrong with going to Europe or getting a brand new car, but they are very clear. They don't care if I want to, they don't want me to say that I'm going to be investing the money, paying off student loans, whatever, either because it's not attractive,
Right.
or because there's something about our culture that
Yes.
wants the flashy stuff instead of just like reducing your stress and living a simpler life.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole key. Remember just sitting on the couch watching the games, and yeah, they want you to say Europe or car, because that person sitting on the couch gets a moment in time to live vicariously through you.
Mhm.
Because hopefully they like you, they're rooting for you, right? Because everybody wants the people to win and not the game, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it makes total sense that they would want that. It's like, I'm just going to sit on the cast, Jack. No, you can't say that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you and I both know, I would pay the 40% or whatever in taxes, and then the rest of it, I would invest every penny.
Yeah, exactly. I might take the wife out for dinner, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I want people to take away from this is, you're in the rat race, or what I call the 40-40 life, all of us, every one of us. And you only get out when your passive income exceeds your expenses, because then time is yours. You've won the game, right? This is a game of time. And when you have to sell your future, people, you are selling little slivers of your life,
Mhm.
8 hours at a time, 10 hours at a time. You can stop that. It will take time and sacrifice and all of that stuff, but it's possible. I really do think the system doesn't want you. The system is happy with everybody living the 40-40 life. It's kind of built that way. Wall Street's built that way. The education system is built that way. Yeah, the GDP is, I mean, it's, the more and more I'm looking at this, I'm like, we have to shine a light that the rat race is real. And if you want out, we can show you. But if you're happy, cool. Because again, I really do believe it all boils down to, if you're happy, you're already a winner. So go nuts.
Yeah, and one last thing I'll add to that is I actually did a calculation a while ago about how much time you actually spend in the office.
Oh no.
And a lot of people work more than 40 hours a week, but if you just work 40 hours a week until you're, say, 65, it's a total of just over 9 years that you're physically sitting at your computer desk in the office, like 9 years of just doing that. And so if you can figure out a way to make passive income and not have to rely on a job, you basically get 9 years back. You just get 9 years because you're not, and that doesn't include the amount of time you're spending commuting to and from the
Yeah.
office and sitting at red lights or getting ready in the morning or anything like that. So yeah, it's crazy.
Folks, the rat race is real. You can get out, but as I found, the first step is realizing it's there. And I didn't know about it until I was 30 years old. So Todd, do me a favor. How can people find you?
Yes, if you want to get in touch, Instagram is the best way, at Todd J. Baldwin. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's just my name, Todd Baldwin, and it's pretty easy to find.
Cool. Thanks, brother.